kind of interesting. Another interesting thing to me, finding out recently, is all of a sudden everybody is a broadcaster. What this thing that's happening to the world has just created a world of podcasters, people doing shows from their living rooms and kitchens and stuff, and so a lot of entertainers have been forced, just by the need, because we live off of this performance stuff, to take our shows into our homes, basically, and try to deliver them through Facebook and YouTube, and that's what we're doing. I just want to be known that I was doing this shit for a long time before that happened. So I'm an old man at this. But my guests tonight are really two of the brightest comedians out there working, and they're putting together something unique and different, and I'm going to be very happy to be a part of that. So without further ado, I'm going to welcome him into the room right now. Please open your ears, open your minds, and help me welcome in Chris, Monty, and Rich Walker. Hey, guys.
Hi, Matt.
How are you?
Hey, Rich.
Right. It's good to be here.
It looks like? Can you see what it looks like, Rich?
I do.
All right.
I see it. Yep. Thank you.
So I was hoping Gary would join us. I texted him, and Gary's the third partner in this crime organization that I'm dealing with now. And I was hoping he'd come in to talk to a little bit about this project that you guys got going on. Let's talk about why are you doing it?
Rich, you want to go, or you want me to go?
You want to take?
I don't know. I don't know who called who, but Richie and I both. We love, comedy. We love sketch comedy. We grew up like you and most of America on, Sid Caesar and all the great sketch shows. So, we thought there's so many people out there, young generation or generations coming up that don't know a lot of that stuff, and we decided, hey, let's put together a show of quick, funny sketches. Some of them being original that Rich and I wrote, and some of them being old street jokes. Two guys walk into a bar or whatever. Let's act them out and make them a sketch and see if they're funny. And some of them are just hysterical. So I called Rich one night. He called me. We were going back and forth. Yeah, well, and we since we've been doing them with Gary, who's not here. He's the sort of director, producer, cameraman, everything rolled into one. We can't tell you how much we spend, 4 or 5 hours a shooting maybe 5 sketches, and we just when we leave, we don't want to leave.
We do,
right?
And they go when we're shooting them. The shoot goes about. It's like we're there about 2.5, 3 hours, but it feels like 5 minutes. Chris and I, if I just want to add, have been working together for a lot of years. We even as a team. I'll bring it up, but Chris hates me bringing this up.
I don't hate you bringing this up.
Okay,
you sound like an old homosexual couple that broke up.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. Not at all.
One was really happy. One was really happy, and the other one was heartbroken. But it's not. So.
Guess which is which.
Anyway, Chris and I, we used to be a team, and we want you to laugh. I was going to say don't laugh, but we used to be a team.
Well, we weren't a comedy team per se. Right.
Right. Where we were two
show.
cowboys at White Post Farms for a family show. And we used to do real corny jokes like, what? Oh, plug for White Post? Maybe we can get them to sponsor. But like we would do jokes like he would go, hey, I was Rodeo Ricky and he was Montana Monty. He would go, hey, Rodeo, how's it going? What? Yeah, that's what I said, Montana Monty. Right?
Yeah.
And he would say, how's it going today? And I go, not good. I'm glad to get out of my house. And he said, how so? I said, well, my wife is there with her 2 sisters, Vivian and Lassie. And he said, wait a second, Lassie's a dog. I said, you should see Vivian. But like we would do those kind of jokes. Believe it or not, what's really funny, adult jokes for kids.
But you know what? We would do some stuff for the kids too, but the parents enjoyed the show because at least there was something in it for them too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. So what we discovered from many, many years, almost like Laurel and Hardy, working together, we can almost predict each other's line. And
we have each other's timing down, and we know what the other guy's thinking.
Timing.
So if I could be Richie and I could just be in a car driving to a gig, and in conversation, I could set him up, and I know right away if I say something, he's going to come up with a punchline right away. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and vice versa.
You guys have a great chemistry, and I'm not saying that just blowing smoke or anything, because this isn't the first rodeo for me. I mean, I've helped a lot of people comedians who say, I want to put together something like you guys are putting together. And I got to meet with them, and they were young guys, but hip hop oriented comedians, I call them. But you could tell right away looking at them that how are they going to put the skit stuff together? They have no chemistry. The first time I met with you guys in a restaurant diner or whatever it was, and I saw you guys are just like it just flows with you guys, and you could see that you got that chemistry. That's rare to find.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is, because I was in a comedy team with someone else doing stand-up in a comedy team. And my partner, who is now my manager and was a best friend growing up, we had great chemistry together, but he was strictly the straight man. With Richie or we could flip that role, and either one of us could assume the role of the straight guy or the funny guy in a second. Right, Rich?
Which is what we did in this series of clips that we put together.
Right.
Sometimes he'll have the punchline, I'll have the punchline. We have no problem with ego.
Letting somebody get but there's no ego. I don't care who gets the laugh. I just want it to be entertaining, and I want it to be wide. We're talking about now what you're involved in with us, Matt. The Everything Old is New Again, the sketch comedy show that we have coming out.
Right, and I was going to bring that up. I just started building the website, but if you want to check it out and get on the mailing list so that you know when new content comes out, which should be any day now.
I advise everybody to do that.
MontyWalkerProductions.com. Let me put that up on the screen here. MontyWalkerProductions.com. There it is, right there. So you can just go to that website, and there's a link right on the homepage to get on the mailing list. Get on the mailing list, and we'll keep you informed as soon as new content comes up. New interesting stuff to watch. You'll get a message, and you'll be rocking and rolling there. So I mentioned at the beginning that everybody is now a broadcaster, and I know from doing this that it used to be like pulling teeth to get people to come on podcasts. Now I'm getting people coming out of the woodwork to say, "Can I be on your podcast?" Which is insane, and people asking, and people doing it themselves, and all that kind of stuff that I never saw before. People were just like intimidated by the technology. Now we're just embracing it because of this stuff. Is this the new world we're going to, Chris?
This is the business now too, because I'll give you a quick story. For the most part, in Hollywood or in show business in general, agents, managers, big time producers, they care about talent, but not as much as they care about the social media. Because I did a showcase out in Los Angeles, and my manager took me out there. I did a festival, and from the festival, I got a showcase in LA to do stand up. I did the showcase, and I was out there with my manager, and he was talking with this producer who produces television shows and films and everything. And he's like, talking to him. So what do you think about my guy? And the guy's like, "Oh, I love Chris Monty. He's wonderful. He's great. How many followers does he have on Twitter and Instagram?" That's all I cared about. Because they want to know that you can sell yourself. They don't want to have to do the work anymore to make you a star and sell you. So this is the future. We're in it. It's been like this. And unfortunately, it started a long time ago, because Richie can attest to this, and you probably know, Matt, who is it? Dane Cook. MySpace turned him into a superstar. Right, Rich?
Right. That's right. The story with him is, I heard that when all the other comics were going out to the diner after a show, he would go back to the hotel room and keep friending everybody on MySpace. And he was like the first guy to ever make it all happen. And he had like, I don't know how many followers, but like 1 million followers that would all flood to see him at shows. And he made himself a celebrity.
Right.
Right.
So now, ever since then,
club he was in. I'm sorry, Rich, go ahead.
No, that's right. But ever since then, everybody wants to jump on this bandwagon.
Right.
But in our defense, I think Chris and I's show is a little bit different. It's funny skits, almost like a modern day Saturday Night Live, except the skits are really, really, really funny. And
they don't run on. And they don't run on.
They don't run on. Once the joke is over after a minute or 30 seconds, we move on to the next one.
Our sketch, I don't think our longest sketch is longer than, I think the longest sketch we have is off the top of my head right now, I think is the adoption sketch, Rich. And that's probably a minute and a half, but that's like the longest sketch. Everything is between 30 seconds and 60 seconds long.
I want to get your take on this. And Rich, this goes out to you.
Yeah.
It seems to me what you just hit on is very common now, that comedians or even comedy writers will get a good idea, they'll run with it, and then they don't know when it's time to end it, and they just want to make something long out of a really good idea where it would have been gold for a minute and a half. Now at 3.5 minutes, it's pretty much garbage, right?
Yeah.
And there seems to be
not to brag, Matt, but I think Chris and I know when the joke is over. I mean, he's a little bit better at it than I am. I beat up my jokes a little bit, but I go a little bit, what?
Well, there's a difference between writing out like the punchline or just extending a joke and putting in extra stuff that doesn't need to be
right. Yeah. Well, Richie's philosophy is, let me write a mediocre punchline and add 20 funny tags.
There you go.
Yeah.
I love that. That's
There's a comedian on Long Island. There's a comedian on Long Island named Joe Starr who said that Rich's material is like being on a pogo stick in a minefield, and you're hoping you hit one of them.
Oh my God. And that was a compliment, right?
Not really, but it was at a roast. But so ever since then, I've been shortening my stuff, and that's why I teamed up with Chris Monty to get the joke over with quicker. No, but you're going to see, we don't have any clips to show them, right, on this yet? Just stay tuned?
Not yet. I'm waiting on Gary to get me stuff. He's a great cinematographer and director, but I guess he's having some technical problems getting me the content. But hopefully in a day or two. Well,
yeah, it'll be coming very soon. And
I know when I read the email, it said I'll be sending the DVD. I'm like, what is this, 1995?
Yeah, really. And I'm not afraid to go out of my house. I mean, you could leave it in your mailbox. I'll come by with gloves and take it out.
Well, where you live, there's nobody around for 10 miles.
Right. Yeah. That's
where's the nearest neighbor? Cutchog, right?
Right.
I'm pretty sure you could go outside, Matt.
I did. I've been going outside, but today I'm doing a podcast from home. I got a woman, Laura Bull, who she's a branding expert for musicians. So Sony Records, Sony Records.
Oh, they meant branding.
Oh no,
where you live, I thought it was branding.
Cows. Yeah. I heard of that.
Right.
I heard of that Sony Records. So she's doing a good job.
Yeah. No, she was doing the branding for the artists. Listen, like
for the artists,
like the personal branding, like Brad Paisley's personal brand, Johnny Cash's personal brand when he was alive.
Yeah, of course.
So, but I'm doing it. All of a sudden, guys are coming around landscaping in my yard or in the neighbor's yard, and I'm like, what the hell? They're not supposed to be out there like doing this regular work stuff. Aren't we all on lockdown? No, I'm the
essential. They're essential workers.
To blowing leaves while I'm doing a podcast, so it screwed up my whole the beginning of my show. I had to do it completely with noise reduction, so
hysterical.
Yeah. Hey, I got people on the line who actually know you, and they're asking me to ask you questions. Hold on a second. Let me see that.
Oh, all right.
Ask Rich if he can get a black guy for Ralph. Can you get a black guy for Ralph?
I don't know what he's talking about.
What does that mean?
What is that? What is that reference to?
I don't know.
But you have a lot of friends in the chat room. Are you guys seeing the chat room?
No, I don't see the chat room.
Friends and fans over there. Nancy Debonairo, Carrie Pagano, Art Schill, Lots of people.
We know Art Schill. Yeah, they're great. Art Schill, Nancy,
I know them all.
great.
Nancy, I know them all. Hi, Nancy.
I mentioned earlier before I brought you guys on that when I met you, that was the first. I had seen you in comedy shows years ago when I went out to comedy clubs, but memory is memory, and I see so many guys. The names didn't ring a bell, but then I find out on Facebook that everybody I know knows you and is friends with you in some way.
Me more or Chris more?
I think more than you, Rich. Yeah, I think more you. But no, I'm talking about you guys at wakes and funerals and stuff.
We're big at wakes.
Yeah. When you see our show,
Chris Monty, we do a whole thing, Matt, on going to a wake, and
we have recurring sketches with being at funerals and wakes because Richie is the only one that can make a funeral fun.
I'm thinking there has to be a bit in here for you guys to write about this and cut me in on it as your agent who's booking you at a funeral now.
Yeah.
I got a great gig for you two guys to do stand up at a funeral. It's a 10-minute job. It's going to pay well, and there's snacks. Can you write that?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking for any kind of work I can get, man. So write me in just like a little walk-on part.
As long as there's food, we're in.
That's coming soon. It's coming soon where you do stand-up at a wake or the after party or the after dinner.
I've done it already. I've done a wake.
Really?
Yeah, there was I don't know if you ever heard.
Any Rich Walker performance could be considered a wake.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. No, but it was the woman's wish that she had a comedian at her. It was the dinner after the wake.
And they couldn't find one, so they got Richie. No.
Well, it's a long story because they actually called another comedian who didn't want to venture into that. So it got tossed to me. No, it was Tony Landolfi.
Oh, okay.
He goes, I'm not. Yeah, we all love Tony, but he was like, I'm not doing this.
I would have turned it down too because it's awkward.
So I do it, but my opening joke was, I said, "Hey, listen, I don't want to be here any more than you want me to be here. But if this doesn't go well, blame the corpse." And
did you say that?
Yeah, it was my opening joke, and they loved it.
How did he like it?
Black. It was a nice dinner, and then I went up, and I was kind of sweating it out.
Wait, so you were in front of the casket, or you were at the house?
No. It was in the dinner after when everybody goes to have dinner in the restaurant after.
Right.
But there was about 150 people at that.
There's a word for that. I forget.
The after dinner.
No, it's called something else. Something with the letter R.
Oh. The reception.
Not the reception, no.
I know. Well, it's death. Shouldn't it be the deception? Deception?
I don't know what it is, but
we'll call it the after party.
The after party, yes.
Yeah, okay.
And that's what it was.
So you did well for 10 minutes.
It was great. It was like my best 35 minutes I ever did.
Then people are coming up to Richie and they're crying, "Oh my God, that was wonderful." And Richie's like, "Who pays me?"
Right. Did they ask you back? Did they ask
Where's
you back?
the widow? I want to get my check.
They asked me. They said when the old man came up to me, he said, "Hey, listen, when I die, I want you back."
How will he know?
So, no, I guess they wouldn't. He wouldn't know, but everybody else is going there like, "Hey, we want to see that comedian again. Get ready to kick off."
He's done every funeral in my family for 20 years now. We love him. He's at every funeral.
We love this guy.
My first TV show, my first try at a TV show was the subject was death and dying, and it was a comedy show, and it was difficult. Death is a tough subject.
Well, Matt, there's a lot of shows right now that are very big on death, and it's a bit like Beetlejuice on Broadway. The title of it is The Show About Death, and it's almost it's very funny.
What about that show that used to be on in the early 2000s, 6 Feet Under?
Right, yeah.
6 Feet Under, Family Plots. Remember that one?
The Walking Dead, isn't that
Plots.
about the end of the world, the apocalypse?
Yeah.
No, what?
But that's not
Family
a comedy
Plots?
show, is it?
No.
Family Plots was a reality show, and they showed you the inner workings of a funeral home with everybody fighting with each other, then mixing up the bodies and all that. And then I heard later that funeral home ended up going out of business because nobody wanted to be the body on the table that they showed on TV.
They showed real bodies?
Oh yeah, they showed the girl doing the makeup and everything. It was fun.
Richie, tell a joke about the guy that puts the wrong suit on each corpse.
You tell it better. Go ahead, you tell it.
I don't tell it better.
I don't know it.
Okay,
Mr. Yeah.
It's 6:30 and the family all shows up for the wake at 7. And the daughter's looking into the father's casket. She goes, "Oh my God." She goes, "This isn't what happened to Dad's suit." And the mother goes, "I brought that suit at 2:00 this afternoon. They were supposed to put the blue suit." So they go to the undertaker. They go, "What happened to his blue suit?" And he goes, "Oh no, I think we messed up." He goes, so he goes into the mortician and he goes, "What happened to the blue suit?" And he goes, "Oh my God, I mixed it up. He's on the body in the other room." So he goes, "Don't worry about it. I could do something. I could figure this out." He says, "It's going to take you 3 hours to change the suit." He goes, "Don't worry about it. Bring in the other body." So they bring in both bodies. 15 minutes later, he comes back out. He goes, "I took care of it." And they look in the casket, and the father's now wearing a blue suit. They go, "Oh my God, how did you do the blue suit so quick? This is a miracle." He goes, "What miracle? I switched the heads." Did I tell that, Chris, right?
Yeah, I tell it a little different.
I'll give you the Milton Brown treatment.
That's an old joke, but you know what? Maybe we'll do that in a skit, Chris.
I was going to say.
And Matt could be the corpse in the casket.
Matt will be the corpse.
I've had my head switched a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. So, we're getting more people in the room, with questions and stuff. Ralph said something about a chopstick. Tell Rich to get me a chopstick.
Yes, I'm going to get it for him.
I
do a bit in my act about chapsticks, about finding one in the chopstick.
We don't want to do.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So speaking of acts, and I blew past this before because I meant to promo it. Tomorrow night, 8:00, on Facebook Live.
9:00. My show.
Oh, it's 9:00.
Oh, right.
Is it on your fan page or your personal page? Where
the show will be on my personal page, Christopher Michael Monty.
All right, and so it's Chris Monty live on Facebook. It's going to be a great show. I'm going to be part of it. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors. Wake up the dead.
9:00 tomorrow. I'm going to do a little storytelling, some monologue, a little bit of fun. Q&A. Matter of fact, I ask people, send me questions early that you want me to answer because answering them in real time is crazy. So I actually got a bunch of questions already that people inboxed me. And if anybody watching this, if this airs before tomorrow, then, if they're watching it now, go to my Christopher Michael Monty page and message me any questions you have. And at the end of the show, we'll give shout outs. We'll answer questions and we'll give a few plugs to some people who support me.
Are you working clean or there might be some
we both work clean.
I work pretty clean. There might be a little bit of edge and a little bit of adult, but there'll be nothing vulgar. You can have your mother or your children watch my show tomorrow, and there will be nothing offensive.
Excellent. It's a almost family-friendly sort of.
Almost family. I will be drinking alcohol during the show. But
I want to say one thing on that.
Yeah.
I want to, and Chris is extremely funny. It's going to be a great show. Everybody tune in at 9:00. What else are you doing, right? Watch that show. Laugh. If you think it's really, really funny, he's going to probably do more of them. If it's not funny to you at all, tune into our show because it's a whole different kind of sense of humor.
Richie used to do a line at the end of his act.
That was the best plug ever.
Richie used to do a line at the end of his act, and I used to love it. He used to say, "Hey, if you really enjoyed my show, I want you to tell all your friends about me. If you hated me, tell your family."
No.
How'd it go?
I used to say at the end, I said, if you had a good time tonight, we want you to come back and see, one of my shows again. If you had a lousy time, tell your family and friends to come.
Yeah, sorry.
Because we're not fussy. That's okay.
Well, neither of you guys have ever done maybe you have, a supermarket on a Sunday morning, grand opening.
Performing?
Yeah.
No, but I was Santa Claus at a bank grand opening, and I was the Easter Bunny on Palm Sunday at a bank.
Wow.
Because you do what you got to do
right.
to make it like right now, the times are so bad that if somebody called me tomorrow and said, hey, you want to be the Easter Bunny next month, whatever, for $300 an hour, I'd do it because I'm not working.
Right.
The
reason I brought that up, I have with the band, they hired me as a blues band to play a grand opening at a Stop and Shop in Riverhead on a Sunday morning at church time, like 10 o'clock in the morning. Right? So we're playing between the beer and the pharmaceuticals. The actual Stop and Shop, I was there at their house guy for a while. I was playing grand opening Stop and Shops all over, but never on a Sunday morning like that at church time. And the place was packed and people were walking around. And it's just a guitar, bass, and drums. And we played one Billy Joel song. You may be right. Guy comes up and says, you guys a Billy Joel tribute song? A Billy Joel tribute band? He wants to hire me now. Like, do you see a friggin' piano around anywhere? It's just a bass, drums, and guitar. One song.
Hey, man, take the gig. Wing it.
So, so those are the kind of gigs I've done. And I was thinking about putting together a tour like that, like laundromats, gas stations, whatever.
The Atlantic City bus.
The Inconveniencing Customers tour. So basically, people.
That's really funny. The Inconvenience Customer Tour.
I got a phone call. Listen to this, Matt. I got a phone call about a year ago from this one agent I work with who books me a lot of gigs. I won't say his name or his company, but he got a phone call. I think it was the anniversary or a grand opening of a new apartment building in Manhattan. And for 4 hours, wanted to hire me and another comedian to just ride the elevator in that apartment building and tell jokes to whoever gets on the elevator.
You got his number? Text it to me because I want that gig.
No, well, this was the building. They wound up not doing it, but I was like, listen, I told him, I said, you're going to have to pay me a lot more money than you pay me now to do the gigs you pay. And he pays me good money. I said, but if you want me in an elevator for 4 hours to do my material or tell jokes to strangers who are, in New York City, people don't even want to talk to you if they need help. Oh, I'm lost. All right, get away from me. So I'm like, that's going to be so hard. I wound up not coming. He said, would you do it? I said, listen, it's a weekday afternoon. I'll do it. I'll make myself a couple $1,000 if you got good money. But it turned out it didn't happen. But just think about that, Rich, having to be on an elevator, I said, if I can dress I told him if I can dress as the elevator operator and do shit, it might work better.
That's great. That's
with the little cap.
Yeah, I don't think maybe it's not your particular thing, but I guarantee if I could get 4 hours of material of that's golden. That's going viral. That's going to make.
Well, what do you have to do? Like, I can repeat jokes all day because there's going to be different people going up and down. So.
It would be better if they were not funny jokes at all. They were like just really, really not funny.
Oh,
jokes.
I'm sure they wouldn't be funny.
Just to get that New York reaction to like, what the this guy telling me.
What's funny? One of the funniest gigs I ever heard a comic had to do. It was Peter Bales. Chris, I don't know if you know the story. It's a quickie, but he was hired to do. Remember back years ago when the King Tut exhibit came to New York?
Yeah.
And it was the big thing where even, Steve Martin had the song King Tut and all that. It was a big deal. But Peter Bales had to work the line for the King Tut exhibit, except it was moving so fast. And he was stationed in one spot. Like the people would never hear the punchline. He would just start telling the joke, and then the line was like a different audience for the punchline. And then it would keep starting over.
So I just walk up and get the punchline.
You have to walk up. Well, pass it down the line, the punchline.
Well, didn't they? I remember Peaches one time was running or helping somebody run the Atlantic City bus comics. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Well, that would be fun. At least you have 40
No.
captive people that aren't going anywhere.
Yeah, but I did. You ever do the boat tour? I did the boat tour comedy.
I've done boats. I've done boats.
Yeah, not a cruise, Matt. Just a 3-hour cruise around Manhattan, right?
Yeah.
In the summer, they got this cruise that go around Manhattan. They stop at the Statue of Liberty. They go around the island of Manhattan, and you're on the boat. So you do a show. I've done them, and they're usually Sunday afternoons. At you go down the boat at 12. You go on at 1:30, and the boat comes back at 4 o'clock. But you're on the boat. And no matter how the show, and I've been on the boat where the show has been great, and I've been on the boat where the show is terrible. And now you're stuck on the boat with these people, and there's no dressing room because it's not you're not on the Royal Caribbean cruise line. You're on the SS Minnow going around freaking Manhattan Island. And now you're these people hated you, and now you're now what do I do? I'm stuck here till 4 o'clock.
Oh my God, that's the ultimate nightmare. I can't even get away from it.
But at least there's always one guy that comes up to you and goes, "Hey, I thought you were funny."
Oh my God.
I said, "Thanks. It makes it all worthwhile now. Thanks."
Oh man. So we're going to be launching this product very soon, any day now. So it's something new from
it's something old that's new.
Something old that is new again. Everything old is new again. What is
That's
this?
right.
Not now.
It's so true.
Are you guys still with me? Because I just got some message that something was shutting down.
Here.
Okay.
I'm shutting down.
I got scared.
Did you get it?
I didn't get it.
Message?
It was about.
No, I didn't get it.
All right. Well, cool. So Ralph is saying Rich keeps ignoring me. I guess.
I'm not ignoring him. Hey, Ralph, how are you? Ralph is an old friend, but he used to be a booking for a place called the Upper Dock.
I know it.
Yeah. So you remember Jimmy V, the guy with the suit? He had no socks or shoes.
Is that right?
Is that right? So you must know Ralph. He used to book the comedians up there.
Ralph,
and we used to do it every Tuesday night. We used to have a lot of fun.
Is that the
some of the biggest.
Rich?
Yes. Kings
Is that
Park.
where this happens, Rich?
The what?
No Star. Is that where this happened?
No, that was McGuire's when he did that.
Oh.
He did 4 minutes. Hey,
you used to do something on the dock, right? On the dock thing is some
it's
show.
Called the Upper Dock.
The Upper Dock.
That was it.
You know what's really funny? Chris and I once did a backyard party in Belmore on the water, and they had a fire pit going, and behind us was the fire pit, and there was so much smoke when the show was on, you could barely even see us. We looked like the Wicked Witch of the West coming out of the fire, melting.
Let me tell you something. We did backyard parties. We did in-house parties with 10 people. And let me tell you something. About 2 months ago, you couldn't get me to do one of those. But right now,
really?
I'd run to the fucking house.
Right, I know.
I'll take it.
It's hurting. I know. We're all hurting. There's no gigs to be had for anybody, and of course, there's not going to be for a while. So it's frustrating as hell. It is what it is. But on Ralph, I know Ralphie since before kindergarten. He's one of my best, longest friends, and I've known him since then. So yeah, I'm very well.
Wow, you sound like you're proud of that.
Well,
I'm kidding. He's a good guy. I'm teasing. I'm kidding.
No, we love each other. He's my best, longest friend. So that's
nice.
Yeah.
Well, and we send him our regards, and I hope he's doing well.
And his brother Vinny was in the room too. I think you know Vinny. Vinny tried to say it.
I met Vinny. I only met Vinny a couple of times. Yeah. Great guys.
So anyway, they're in the room, and that's why he was saying, "Well, Rich is ignoring me. Knock, knock. Where'd you go?" That kind of stuff.
Chris, what are you eating? A banana? What is that?
No, I'm wiping the sweat. I got to open the window in here. It's 100 degrees in my
car. That's nice. You got nice heat.
He lives in Queens. What do you have? One of them old cast iron radiators, under the window?
Oh, forget it, dude. The heat here pumps like it's obnoxious how hot. We keep the windows open. It could be 18 below with the wind chill. My wife and I have the windows cracked in every room.
Not my wife. My wife keeps it like really freezing in the house all the time. I got to walk around with coats on, but that's a whole.
Oh, I'd love that house.
You do?
Well,
My wife
me
likes
too,
to
because
heat up.
women are always cold. So the fact that your wife likes it cold is good, because my wife likes it warm.
She's just my wife is just obsessed with really weird things like that. So the house has got to be if it's 62 degrees, that's way too warm.
Oh, I love your wife already.
No, so tell me about this. This is something, because you guys are veteran comedians. You know what it's like. Talk to me about this experience playing in a rock and roll band is playing, right? And all of a sudden somebody wants you to get up and do your material. What is your answer? Right in the middle of a band set.
Oh, it's, you know what? I don't, especially unannounced. I'll tell you a quick story. I was at a gig a long time ago, like 15, 17 years ago, in the beginning of my career, when I was going on the road. And we got to the club and there was nobody at the club, and 2 people. And so, the club owner goes, look, I'm going to give you half your money. We're not doing the show. Nobody showed up. I'm sorry. So the 2 people that were in the audience said, hey, we're a husband and wife. We never get to go out. We own our own business. Would you mind doing like an abbreviated show just for us? We don't care if there's nobody here. So the comics, they were feeding us and giving us drinks, the venue. We got half our money. We all said, hey, let's all do 10 minutes each. Give them a 30-minute show. So we did that, and they were great. They take us back to they go, come with us now. They owned a bar. Come with us to our bar. You're going to be our special guest. It was me, Joe Curry, Mark Lund, my now manager, who's my partner, and then I forget who the other comic was. But we go back to, it's out in Philadelphia. We go back to the bar, Matt, and there's a band playing, rock and roll band. They're doing cover, but they're great, right? Really good. They got pizza, homemade pizza oven. They're making pizzas. We're sitting at a table in the back with free drinks with this couple that owns the joint, because we performed for them. They were so great. And then right in the middle of that, the band takes a break and they go, why don't you guys go up and do 10 minutes? And I was like, now it's doing Matt. Now it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. So the band is like, the band is on their late show set. They're taking a quick 20-minute break, and then they're going to close the bar out. Right. And we're like, no, you don't want us to go up now. First of all, we've been drinking since we left the other joint. And second of all, this crowd is drunk out of their skulls. They're singing, I want to rock and roll all night, and they don't want to hear us talk for 5 minutes. Right. And they're like, no,
Chris is up there. They're going, free bird, free bird.
Well, Matt, they begged us, and what could we do, because they took such good care of us.
Right.
So
you felt obligated.
We go up and we said, look, we'll do about 3 to 5 minutes each, and they said that's fine. And Mark and I were smart. We said, let's go first and get this over with. And we went first, and we did about 3 minutes of like half ignoring and the other half just yelling shit at us. And we got off, and the owners were like, maybe it wasn't a good idea. After we begged them that it wasn't a good idea. So
right. Yeah.
Nobody wants to go on unless it's abandoned comedy advertised and they know they're coming for that.
Right. Yeah. And even then, that's just the worst atmosphere, is to get people riled up, wanting to dance, scream, shout, whatever they want to do. Oh. And then you got
I hate it when they break up the dance party to do a comedy show.
What I do is, if I'm ever on with a band or whatever, I did some benefit one time, and the guy said, we're raising money for MS, and it's going to be like a band. We want you to come on and do comedy. And I said, no, here's what I'll do. I'll host. I'll come out, I'll open the show, I'll do 5 minutes, and I'll introduce each band. I said, otherwise it's not going to work. You can't put on 3 bands and then have me go up and do a half hour. It's not going to work. And you know what? That worked out better. I opened up the show. I did 5 minutes. They were cool. I introduced the first band, and then I kept coming up in between, did 1-2 quick minutes, introduced the next band. That works. But you can't stand up there for 20 minutes after any band is playing, and they get the place rocking,
I am so happy to hear both of you say that. And I'll tell you why. I got a personal axe to grind in this. It's not, I'm not mad at anybody or anything, but there's a comedian, you guys both know him, and he was...
Name rhymes with...
I'm not mentioning his name. My band was playing at Venetian Shores in Lindenhurst, and we had the crowd dancing, rocking, screaming, whatever. We're very we get people moving and interacting. And so I turn my back to tune my guitar, and I hear, Napo, shut up! And the comedian has a mic, and my singer gave him the mic and said, now he's going to do 2 minutes of comedy. And my reaction to that was, that's a bad idea. And he took that like personal. So the guy hates me now. Like I was telling him, but he bombed terribly because in that moment, and I knew he was going to bomb, and I was trying to talk everybody out of it. And it turned out I'm right. But I'm kind of on the shit list because of that, and it's just like, so
he didn't bomb because of that. He didn't bomb because of you. He bombed because he was going to bomb even if he got the greatest introduction in the world.
You bet he was. That atmosphere is just not right for a comic, and that's what the point I was trying to make. And I didn't even say it to him. I said it to my singer. It's like,
is that where you met Chris Monty?
All right, I'll say his name. Damn it! I didn't want to say his name.
You can text it. Text it to us.
Yeah, no.
Listen, go ahead.
Yeah, I feel bad about it in a way, but I know the guy hates me now. But he's nice to me when he sees me. He's like, he's one of these guys like, oh, how are you? But I know behind my back, he's like, that motherfucker, my gig. Made me look stupid, made me bomb. So I feel bad about it. But
he put it on you.
Right. I wouldn't,
yeah. And this. Listen, if my first gig back, if I have no gigs for the next 2 months and somebody says, hey, come on, I got a great gig for you. What? You're going to go on after a band. I'm going to go, you know what? I'm going to collect my unemployment check and stay home.
Not even after a band, but in between songs. We don't take breaks. We do a 4-hour show. We weren't taking a break. This was like in between Wooly Bully and Moni Moni.
Matt, what's the name of your band again, just for everybody out there?
The Rockin' 45s. Where's my disc? Oh, by the way, new CD out yesterday because timing is everything. And we had a board meeting several years ago, and we said, when do you want to put out the CD? And we just looked at each other and said,
wait till
there's a worldwide pandemic and depression. So I released it yesterday.
Good. Congratulations.
Well, I'm a businessman. It's nothing else.
Good luck with that.
It is one. Yeah. I know, that's right. And so, it is what it is. But so I was just really, because I know there are situations as a comedian you don't want to be put in, like just to get people to laugh.
It's like, it's like going up after, like years ago when I used to do spots in the city, you had a spot and then all of a sudden it's, Chris Rock or somebody walked into the club and they go, hey, I want to do material. I'm working on something. And then they go up and they do 45 minutes and everybody had been doing 8 minutes before that. And now a star comes in and then it's like, do you want to go after that? Or do you want to just say, you know what? I'm not going to do my spot tonight because after that
but
guy,
then I said, Chris, go after me. You could do it.
No, you know what? That happened when I first started in this business. I was at Rich. Remember when they used to do the open mic at the brokerage, and John Truson used to MC it? It was like a Wednesday night or something at the brokerage.
No,
you remember that, Rich?
Yes.
No? You remember?
Yes.
Yes.
But
the
open mics, they used to be packed at the brokerage when I first started in the late 90s, and so. I'm up there one night. I'm getting ready to go on, and Joey Cola walks in. Now the place was packed, right? And Cola walked in, and at that moment, Cola was like a big star to all of us. We're like, oh my God, Joey Cola's here. And Joey Cola comes in and says, I promise nobody's going to get bumped. He still is. I love Joey Cola. He's one of my mentors. I love Joey. Joey goes, I promise nobody's going to get bumped. But I'm going to just go up and do 10 minutes. I'm working on 10 minutes of something. I'm doing that, and I make sure nobody loses their spot. So Joey goes up, and my spot was the spot that was next. So Joey goes up in front of me. He does 10. Now, he kills. He gets off, and John Truson, who was hosting the open mic at that time, says, I'm going to do like 3 minutes, and then I'll bring you up. So John goes up to do a few minutes. Joey comes off, and I go, Joey, that's fantastic. I go, I don't even want to go on now, because you were so good. And Joey goes, how was the crowd before I got here? And I go, they were pretty tight. It's a pretty packed house, but they weren't really laughing a lot at the other guys. And he goes, and Joey just destroyed the place. And he goes, now they're in a good mood. He goes, don't be afraid to follow me now. I want you to go up there and ride the wave, because they didn't come here to not laugh. They came here to laugh.
Right.
And I went up and I had a good set. I didn't have a Joey Cola set, but I had a good set.
Right, because he didn't wear him out. He didn't do 30 minutes, 35 minutes. That would have kind of like, if a crowd laughs hard for 35 minutes, the next guy coming up is going to be kind of, we're a little tired of laughing now.
Especially when you're watching, 12 comics, because open mic night.
Not when I perform.
Really? Where they bow out like after 30 seconds, but
they leave.
When Richie's up there.
So what's the outlook? All your gigs have just got canceled. All your shows got canceled from now on.
Everything.
I have nothing. I mean, I got a lot of cancellations, but I have a lot of gigs still pending in April. And I called a few of the bookers for those gigs, and I said, I'm just waiting for you to pull the plug. And they said, we're not pulling the plug yet, because where we are, there's not a lot of cases with the virus. So we want to do the shows. And I was like, I'll do the shows if you guys are doing the shows. So, but I'm still in fear that they're going to cancel, because it's only a few weeks away from those gigs. And I don't think that people are going to come out. I think people are going to be too frightened. And even when we do go back to semi-normal, where they say, hey, everything's open back up to normal, they already said today's opening day for baseball.
Right.
Didn't happen. They're saying it might happen at the end of May or the beginning of June, but they're saying that even then they might do the baseball games for like 2 weeks with no crowds. So if in June they're not going to have crowds together, when can Richie and I or you expect to get back into a bar or a nightclub or a casino and work?
You know what's different between what I do and there's a lot of things different between what I do and what you do. But when we finally get going back and there's a room you're in and you're working, the first time you hear a cough, what is it going to do to the room? It won't happen with me. It won't happen. We don't hear a cough, but you guys are going to hear a cough, and the whole room is going to be like, how do we react to that?
Yep, exactly.
The whole audience would get up and throw the guy out the door.
Listen, hecklers can stay, but somebody clears their throat, you throw that asshole out of here.
We've thrown guys out for farting on the dance floor too much, and it's actually happened quite a bit.
Really?
Yeah. Oh man, you'd be surprised how
bands have a farting problem.
Not the band, the people dancing in front of you.
Yes. In the audience.
Yes, people dance and they're moving, they're shaking their ass, they're shaking it loose, and then
beer drinkers, man. Beer drinkers.
And if you're singing and you're inhaling, air is going in and out of your body, the minute someone starts, flatulating all over the floor, it can
That's a guy thing too, because years ago, I used to go to, back in the early days of the 90s, I used to go to nightclubs, disco. There weren't discos anymore, but there were nightclubs, lounges. And we used to go to this one club, me and my buddies. And there was one spot at the bar that we loved. And we used to say that we knew the bartender. It was the best spot to look at the girls coming and going from the bathroom, so you had this spot. And one time we got there and our spot was taken. There was a group of girls. So we stand next to them and we're drinking and we're having, conversation. And this is the old days when I used to smoke cigarettes, when you could smoke in the nightclub, we stand at the bar, we're smoking, we're drinking, we're talking. And I look at my buddy and I go, bro, when are these girls going to leave this corner? Because I want to get into our regular spot. And he looks at me and he goes, bro, I've been dropping bombs for the last 20 minutes. I'm about to throw up in my mouth. I don't know how they're still standing there.
Oh, man. Yeah. So that's a problem with the bands. But, I would like to be in a room where in a comedy, when everything starts getting back and the first person just lets go like a real hard cough after a
sneeze.
Yeah. But generally that laughing cough where a laugh turns into a prolonged cough. And the reaction in the room, whatever. So, Rich.
Well, the level of our show is going to be a little bit above this material. And no, I'm kidding.
We don't have any flatulent jokes.
We don't have any flatulent jokes.
But I know that you actually teach stand-up comedy, right?
We do.
Is that something you can
teach us what not to do?
Can I have one? Can I have?
What do you eat? Carrot stick, Rich? Celery stick?
Celery. It's French fries.
Yeah, McDonald's celery stick.
How's that diabetes going, Rich?
Not good.
Not good.
I'm hoping we're able to film this show, film more segments.
But my two thoughts for you guys is, number one, Rich, isn't that teaching stuff? Isn't that adaptable to online? Can you take that course stuff and do it like online?
We were talking about that. It's a little bit hard because when we teach the class, Stand Up University, each week we get the students up on stage and they start getting familiar with the stage and how to perform on stage, and we're creating, we're helping them create their character. That'll be very hard at home. I mean, unless they set up a mic in their living room and then we're telling them, no, don't do this or don't do that. But I don't know. We're not there yet. We're hoping this whole thing ends soon.
Wow. So we just talked about developing their character, or that's pretty much what my discussion was today with this woman who was about musicians developing their brand. Is all about that personality, that image that you want to portray out there, and that's what you're talking about when you talk about developing their character and the comedic style, right? Basically,
well, and what the character is an exaggeration of who we are, right? It's not like when you're seeing Rich Walker on stage. It's me, but it's an exaggeration of me. When you're seeing Chris Monty on stage, it's an exaggeration.
It's the real guy.
It's not really.
You see me? It's the real guy.
It is. I've seen him. I've seen him in person. He's pretty much the same. I've seen him acting up on video now. It's like, yeah, that's the guy I know.
When you see the guy in the sketches, it's an actor. When you see him on stage, I try to keep the real Chris Monty to the stage Chris Monty. There might be an exaggeration in the material.
Right.
Like if I go off about my wife or whatever, there might be, it's definitely exaggerated a bit. And Richie's the same way too. Richie's the same guy. Just the material is a little exaggerated. That's what you mean, Rich. Because you're not really a character. You are of being you, but you're pretty close to that guy on stage.
Yeah. But still, maybe there's a little bit more silliness on stage, or
because you're on.
Everything's
I'm curious. You guys are both married, right?
It's Burger King. What?
You're both married. Does your sense of humor always jive with your spouse, or do you drive her crazy?
No.
Does she find you annoying like my wife?
Yes.
No, my wife finds me funny, but then at times she'll look at me and go, that's not funny. You're better than that. If I say something smart ass or whatever,
Yeah, because you mentioned going off on your wife, and I used to do that with my radio show all the time, and then I was scared to go home. I
don't go off on my wife in a mean way. I just talk about like the little small annoyances of marriage.
Right, but even that could get you in trouble if. At least
it can get me in trouble.
And it's just like, wow, shit! I know I shouldn't have said that. But it was funny. I couldn't help myself.
Yeah.
So it's funny to me. She says.
So wrapping it all up, because we're wrapping up on an hour here. I'm really happy to be working with you guys on this. It's going to be the first project we're working on. Is called Everything Old is New Again. And you guys mentioned, I'm old. I'm older than both of you guys. You guys mentioned Sid Caesar and whoever, all the old.
Well, obviously we grew up watching the reruns, but my idol when I was a kid, Matt, my idol was Red Skelton. Red Skelton was who I wanted to be a comedian because I loved Red Skelton. Richie and I both love Johnny Carson. He named his son Carson after Johnny Carson.
Wow.
I love Jack Benny and I'm a big, huge fan of Jackie Gleason. And so there's so many old timers. When people say to me, who's your influences? And then they start naming Eddie Murphy or Chris Rock or, Ray Romano, Sebastian Maniscalco. I go, no. I go, I love those guys. But my guys that I loved were all the old timers,
Wow. Hey, I love that.
Richie too.
Yeah.
This is why
it's good to see somebody bringing that kind of humor back, and I go. You mentioned Sid Caesar. Rob Reiner is still alive. He just celebrated his 98th birthday the other day.
I tweet at him and with him. He tweets every day.
Really?
Yeah, me too.
Carl Reiner.
Yeah.
Carl, Rob's his son.
Yeah.
Carl Reiner. Yeah.
Carl
Reiner. He's very active on Twitter. Carl Reiner.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact,
very
I keep tweeting Carl Reiner to mention me to his son. That I can do movies and stuff.
I tagged Carl Reiner. I tagged Carl Reiner in my post about my tweet about my show tomorrow night that I'll be performing live in my living room. So I tagged Carl. He didn't respond, but hopefully he'll tune in. I'll tweet him again tomorrow.
I'll put the word in for you.
Because it's only going to be 6 o'clock, right, out there where he lives in California. So I'm sure he's still up.
Wow. So thank you guys. Thanks for coming on tomorrow night at 9 on 9. Chris, what's your personal Facebook page again? It's
Christopher Michael Monty on Facebook. 9 p.m. I'll be doing a stand-up special from my living room and half-hour show. I'm going to do a monologue. I'm going to do a couple of little stories maybe from the road, like we were telling tonight about being on the road, and then some Q&A at the end with fans. So tune in and we'll just have a half hour, we'll all drink together and try to get through this boring life that we're all quarantined in.
Right. And Rich, I know you got a show coming up with the guys, a bunch of comedians at Curbside doing.
As a matter of fact, it'll be out. It was for Laughter Saves Lives. Who's John LaRocchia, a firefighter who thought of this. I thought, the idea is so bad that it's good, like the producers in Springtime for Hitler. But it was comics. There was only 4 of us, but we lined up in our cars.
Who's the other 3?
And then
plug them.
What?
Who's the other 3? Plug them.
It was Joe Curry, John Santo, who's an impressionist, and Frank Fiella, myself, and John LaRocchia hosted it. But one by one, we would pull up our cars into his driveway, and he had a mock microphone there, and we would do our material right from our car seat. I mean, I always wanted to be on Comedians in Cars with Coffee, but this is as close I think I'm getting.
Right, you got Burger King.
I have Burger King.
Comedian in car getting Burger King.
Yes.
By the way,
that's good. I like that.
Burger King is in no way sponsor of this program, by the way.
Not yet. Right.
Chris, let me work on getting.
They're going for it.
If you're going to keep doing these live, if the live show works out and you want to keep doing it, let me work on getting you some sponsors for that. Because that's
absolutely.
Not
Burger King.
I like it.
Yeah. No, not.
I would like to after Matt, if we can, after we get these clips up. And people are enjoying them. I'd like to have one of these group chats of us and do a like a question and answer, and what maybe even inspired us to do those clips. When you see them, they're pretty funny. I mean, when we were making them, we were cracking up. We had to do a couple of takes because we were laughing so hard through them. So,
I showed them real quick. I know we have to go. I showed. Yeah, I do a show at the Madison Theater every year, and usually have about between 300 and 400 people at my show. And before the show this year, we brought down the movie screen, and I showed about 5 sketches from the show. So just do a live audience and see what the response would be, Matt.
Yeah.
And it was 98% positive laughter and applause, and I couldn't believe how well it did. I couldn't believe it. It was so people will enjoy these sketches when they're up.
Yeah, let's get back and you know what? Maybe we should have a premiere one when we do the premiere. Next week.
Yes,
we should probably have a premiere meeting.
We'll do a virtual red carpet from each of our homes.
There you go. All right, thanks, guys. Thanks for joining me tonight.
Thanks for having us, Matt.
See you later. Bye.
Thanks, Matt.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Chris.
So there they are, the dynamic duo of Chris Monty and Rich Walker. Check out the website, MontyWalkerProductions.com. Here it is, MontyWalkerProductions.com. That's what it looks like. You can go there now. Sign up on the mailing list over here, and we'll keep you informed on what's the premiere of the content's going to be. I hope you enjoyed the show. Because, those guys are, like I said, they have great chemistry together. Very funny together. and that's a gift. That's gold, man. You love when guys not only can be funny alone, and they don't need to hog the spotlight, and they can riff off each other. That stuff is really good stuff. Hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you'll tell your friends about it. Subscribe. It's Mind Dog TV podcast. I'm at minddogtv.com. You can contact me at info@minddog.tv.com. Until next time, I'm Matt Napo. Thanks for coming. See you later. Bye for now. Thanks, Rich. I'm off.
Thank
you.